Hello and welcome to the Physics 1 lab. This video will cover the LXI Data Logger, which you will use for most of the experiments. We will step through the button layout, initialization process, and basic data taking. Let's begin with the button layout. With the LXI in front of you, there are 3 buttons to the right of the screen. The center button is the home button. This returns the tablet to the main menu screen. Above that is the back button. This will step the tablet back 1 screen. At the bottom is the running apps button. Pressing this will display all currently running apps. Next, we turn our attention to the side rubber border of the tablet. Here we will find the power buttons, which will turn the tablet on and off. Then we have the volume button, which increase and decrease the volume respectively. Now we want to look at the battery pack on the back of the tablet. Here we will find 2 passport connectors used to connect sensors to the tablet, as well as a temperature gauge port, a charging port with an LED, a USB port, an analog input port, and finally, a power button to turn on the battery pack. With the button layout done, we will now learn how to initialize the LXI. To do this, we want to check to see if the tablet is already on. To do this, press the home button and see if the screen lights up. If it does not, press and hold the power button on the side of the tablet until the screen comes on. Then give the LXI time to run through its boot up process. Now with the tablet on, press the home button so the screen comes on and swipe your finger on the touch screen to unlock the tablet. Now you should see the main home screen with all the apps on the LXI. For this lab, we will only be using the Spark View app. Tap the app to open it and allow it to load. This screen that loaded is called a data screen. It displays the data we need to take for the experiments. But we are not at that point yet, so let's reset the screen. To do this, tap the button with the 3 parallel lines located in the top left corner of the screen. This will pull up a menu with multiple options. We will tap on the first one, Start New Experiment. Now we will see a pop-up that asks if we want to save. For this, we click No because we do not want to fill the LXI memory. Now we should see a screen with 3 blue squares with a rectangle under each one. The only one we care about for this class will be the middle rectangle titled Build New Experiment. We will tap this option and it will bring us to a blank screen with a menu for layouts on the right side. For this class, we only use the single rectangle, which is the very top option. Now we will see some different data style options in the middle of our screen. The one you will use will depend on the experiment you are running. Since we are just doing the basic setup, we will select the graph option. This is the top left option. Now we should see the same screen we had before. Now that we are done with the basic initialization, we can press the running apps button and close Spark View. Finally, we will look at how to connect various sensors and take data with the LXI. For this, we want to go into Spark View as before. Since we want to be able to plug sensors into the battery pack, we need to make sure the pack is on. To do this, we will look at the LED on the battery pack. If the LED is not blinking, the pack is off. To turn it on, we will press and hold the power button on the pack until the LED starts to blink. Next, we should notice that the tablet will begin to charge. Now we should see a pop-up that asks to allow Spark View to access Spark LXI. For this, we click OK because we want the data from the sensors to appear on the LXI. Now, we can select Build New Experiment and then tap the single rectangle layout. For this demonstration, we are using a sensor that shows time. For this, we want to use the digits option for data. This is the second from the left on the top right, and is labeled 1.23. Now we should see a screen with 0.00. Now we want to connect the sensor to the battery pack. This sensor is using what is called a digital adapter to connect with the battery pack. Make sure the adapter is in the correct orientation when you plug it into the pack. When you plug in a digital adapter, a menu will pop up that has multiple drop-down menus. Please reference your lab manual to see which option you will choose. For this demonstration, we are working with a free-fall apparatus, which is a 1-photo gate sensor. So, we will tap the 1-photo gate option and tap the option that says free-fall adapter. We will press OK to confirm our selection. Then it will ask us for sensor-specific information, which we are not worried about for the purposes of this demo, so we will just press OK. Now we need to tell the LXI what data we want to take. To do this, find the rectangle with a red outline labeled Select Measurement. Tapping this will pull up a menu with all the possible data the sensor can record. For the demo, we want to record the time of fall, so we will tap the respective option. Now we should see the type of data we are taking in the top left rectangle. For some of the labs, we want to record a certain number of digits for accuracy. To adjust the number of digits that display, we will tap on the bottom right square that has a screwdriver and wrench. For the menu that follows, we will tap on the Data Properties option. Here we can adjust multiple aspects of how the data is taken. But before we do anything else, we need to tell the LXI which measurement we want to edit. To do this, tap the Select Measurement option. You will see the same data options menu as before. Again, we will select time of fall. Now that the LXI knows which data option we want to edit, we can tell it to give us more digits. To do this, tap on the Number Format drop-down menu. Here you should see an option labeled Digits. For this demo, let's say we want 5 digits to display for each run. We will tap the number to the right of the digits option. 2 in this case. Then we will scroll down until we see 5 and we will tap it. Now the LXI is set to give us 5 digits of accuracy every time it measures the time of fall. Now we can press OK, and we are ready to start taking data. We will press the green circle labeled Start at the bottom of the screen to begin recording data. The timer to the right of this button just displays how long the experiment has been running. Then we will do the experiment and collect some data. Once we have a good run, we will press the red square at the bottom to stop data recording. When we are ready for another run, we will press the green button again and repeat the process. Once we have all the data we want, we can look at previous runs by tapping on the small rectangle towards the bottom right of the screen. Then we can tap whichever run we want to view again. Now that we are done with the data, we will tap the 3 lines on the top left and tap Build New Experiment to clear out the data. Now we will look at how to connect a sensor that already has a passport connector. For these types of sensors, we will just plug them in. Make sure the battery pack is on. And tap OK when it asks to allow access. The LXI can tell which sensor it is when it doesn't have to use an adapter. For the sensor we are using for this demo, we will use the Graph Data option, which has already been set up. Again, we will tap the rectangle labeled Select Measurement. For this demo, we will be looking at force data, so we will tap the relevant option. Now we can start recording data by pressing the green circle labeled Start. We will use the force sensor for the experiment and let the LXI record the data. When we have the data needed, we will press Stop to stop recording data. For data displayed as graphs, it is helpful to get the data from one or multiple exact points in the graph. To do this, we will tap the square with a dot in it located on the left side of the toolbar under the graph. This will create a cursor that displays the X and Y data at that exact point in the graph. To move this point, we will tap and then drag the cursor to whichever part of the graph we want to look at. If we want to look at multiple points in a graph, all we need to do is tap the button again to create a new cursor and drag it to wherever we want. You can also move the bubble that displays the data if you can't read it. To do this, just tap the bubble and drag it wherever you want. Also, if for some reason your graph data is not displaying completely, you can tap the Auto Scale button located on the left of the toolbar below the graph. It is represented by the 4 arrows pointing away from each other. This will adjust the scale of the graph for the best viewing. That will complete the intro for the LXI for the Physics 1 lab. Thank you for watching and feel free to refer to this video whenever needed.